The Zillow notification appeared on my phone during a board meeting in Seattle. New listing matching your saved search. 1847 Bellevue Avenue, Newport, Rhode Island. $8.7 million. Ocean views, 12,000 square feet, historic estate. That was my address. My house. The oceanfront mansion I'd purchased 18 months ago after selling my third tech startup for $340 million. I excused myself from the conference room and pulled up the full listing. Professional photos showed every room of my home. The library where I worked, the primary suite with custom millwork, the terrace overlooking the Atlantic, even my private office with my Stanford diploma visible on the wall. The listing description read, "Motivated sellers relocating abroad. Rare opportunity to own historic Newport estate. Shown by appointment only. Contact Melissa Hartwell, Prestige Properties. Sellers. Plural. I was the only owner. I called my property manager, James, who lived in the carriage house and maintained the estate during my frequent travel. James, did you authorize anyone to photograph my house? Miss Chin, I was about to call you." His voice was tight with anger. "Your mother showed up 3 days ago with a photographer and a staging team. She had what looked like official documents, a listing agreement, power of attorney paperwork. She said you'd authorized the sale and were unreachable due to business travel. I authorized nothing. That house isn't for sale." I suspected something was wrong, but the documents looked legitimate. She was very insistent and frankly quite convincing. She said you wanted to sell quickly to fund some family investments. Family investments. My sister Olivia's destination wedding, more likely. James, I need you to document everything. Save any paperwork they left. I'm calling my attorney. I hung up and checked my family group chat. My mother had posted yesterday, "Exciting news. We've listed the Newport property. With the sale, Olivia can have her dream wedding in Tuscany. Everything's falling into place. House with garden wedding sparkles." Olivia had replied, "Oh me, thank you. This is perfect. Vanessa won't even notice, she's never there anyway." My father, smart move. That house was just collecting dust. This way the money goes to something meaningful. They decided to sell my $8.7 million mansion, without asking, to fund my sister's wedding. I pulled up the listing agent's profile. Melissa Hartwell, top producer at Prestige Properties, specializing in luxury Newport estates. Her bio boasted about $200 million in annual sales and exclusive client relationships. She'd just become an accessory to real estate fraud. I called my attorney, David Ross, who'd handled my startup acquisitions. "David, my parents forged documents to list my house. I need the listing removed and I need to know what charges they're facing." Jesus, Vanessa. "How much is the listing?" $8.7 million. That's major felony fraud. We're talking federal charges if they cross state lines. I'll start the legal process immediately, but Vanessa, this is your family. Are you prepared for the consequences? I thought about the group chat. The casual assumption that my property was theirs to liquidate. The complete disregard for my ownership or consent. The certainty that I wouldn't even notice. Absolutely prepared. I'll need a few hours to draft the cease and desist letters and coordinate with Rhode Island authorities. In the meantime, don't contact your family directly. After the call, I did something David would have advised against. I contacted Zillow's corporate office. Not their customer service line, but their executive team. I'd met their CEO Rich Barton at a tech conference 2 years ago. We discussed real estate tech innovations over dinner. I sent him a direct message through LinkedIn. "Rich, someone forged documents to list my property on Zillow. Major fraud situation. The listing needs to be flagged immediately, and your legal team should be aware they're hosting a fraudulent transaction." His response came within 20 minutes. "Vanessa, this is serious. Sending this to our fraud prevention team and legal immediately. Can you provide the listing URL and proof of ownership?" I sent everything. The Zillow link, my deed, mortgage statements, property tax records showing my sole ownership. Rich's next message: "Our fraud team is on it. This is exactly the kind of thing that damages platform integrity. We'll pull the listing and contact the brokerage. I'm also personally calling their broker in charge. Nobody commits fraud using our platform." Within an hour, the Zillow listing was gone. So was the listing on Realtor.com, Trulia, and every other major real estate platform. Melissa Hartwell's phone was probably ringing off the hook with platform fraud alerts. My mother called 15 minutes later. Vanessa, what did you do? The realtor called hysterical. All the listings have been removed. She's talking about fraud investigations and legal action. I stopped you from illegally selling my house, Mom. Your house. We're your parents. That property was purchased with money you made from opportunities we provided. We raised you, educated you, supported you. You gave me a middle-class upbringing, which I appreciate. I built 3 successful companies through my own work. I bought that house with my money. You have zero legal claim to it. We're not claiming it. We're just selling it to fund Olivia's wedding. It's the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. It's real estate fraud. You forged documents claiming ownership of property you don't own. That's a felony, Mom. Multiple felonies, actually. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. David's already filed cease and desist orders. Zillow's legal team is investigating the fraudulent listing. Rhode Island authorities are being contacted. And Melissa Hartwell is probably consulting with her own attorney right now because she's an accessory to fraud. My father took the phone. Vanessa, you're overreacting. We were trying to help Olivia have a beautiful wedding. You're never at that house anyway. Why not let the money go towards something meaningful? Because it's my house, Dad. My property. My investment. You don't get to decide what's meaningful with my assets. We raised you to value family. You raised me to value hard work and integrity. Committing fraud is neither of those things. David called back an hour later. The cease and desist letters have been sent to your parents, Melissa Hartwell and Prestige Properties. I've also filed a police report with Newport Police Department. But Vanessa, there's a complication. What complication? Your parents are claiming you gave them verbal authorization to sell. They say the documents were prepared based on your instructions during a phone call. It's your word against theirs. I have proof. I've been in Seattle for 3 weeks. Phone records show no calls between me and them during the time they claim I authorized this. Plus, Zillow CEO personally intervened to flag the fraud. That carries weight. It does. Speaking of which, Zillow's legal team wants to coordinate with us. They're taking this very seriously. Apparently fraudulent listings are a major platform integrity issue. They're prepared to provide full documentation of the fraud to authorities. Good. There's something else. Your mother scheduled an open house for this Sunday. She's apparently invited 50 people, including potential buyers, her friends and family members. She's treating it like a social event. Posted about it on Facebook. I checked my mother's Facebook. Sure enough, open house at our Newport estate this Sunday. Come tour this magnificent property before it sells. Refreshments provided. Bring anyone interested in luxury real estate. House with garden, clinking glasses. Our estate. She was claiming ownership publicly. David, I want to be at that open house. With police present. Vanessa. She's committing fraud in my home on my property involving dozens of witnesses. I want her arrested on site if she proceeds with this. That's your mother. My mother who's trying to steal $8.7 million from me. Family doesn't get a pass for felony fraud. Saturday morning I flew to Providence and drove to Newport. James met me at the estate looking exhausted. Miss Chin, your mother has been here daily preparing for the open house. She's hired caterers, brought in additional staging, invited a photographer from Newport Life magazine. She's acting like she owns the place. She doesn't. And tomorrow she's going to learn that in front of witnesses. David arrived that evening with documentation, restraining orders, proof of my sole ownership, records of the forged documents. We also had Detective Sarah Martinez from Newport PD, who'd been briefed on the fraud case. Miss Chin, Detective Martinez said, if your mother proceeds with this open house, she's compounding the fraud. Each person she misleads is another count of fraud. We can arrest her on site, but I need to be clear. This will be very public and very embarrassing for your family. She made it public when she posted about it on Facebook. She made it embarrassing when she forged documents to steal my property. I want her to face consequences. Understood. We'll be here tomorrow plain clothes until she arrives. Sunday morning broke clear and beautiful, perfect open house weather. At 10 a.m., caterers arrived with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. A valet service set up at the entrance. My mother appeared in a designer dress, directing setup like she owned the estate. James and I watched from the security monitors. Detective Martinez and 2 other officers waited in unmarked cars down the street. At noon, guests started arriving. My mother's country club friends, potential buyers with their agents, family members and curiosity seekers who'd seen her Facebook post. About 40 people total, all being welcomed into my home by a woman who had no right to be there. Welcome to this magnificent estate, I heard my mother say through the security feed. Built in 1892, fully renovated, 12,000 square feet of luxury living. My family is relocating abroad, so we're motivated sellers. Her family. Not my property, her family's property. Melissa Hartwell arrived, looking nervous. He pulled my mother aside. Patricia, we need to talk. Zillow's legal team has been calling. There are questions about the ownership documents. Everything's fine, my mother said dismissively. Just a misunderstanding with my daughter. She'll come around once she sees how motivated the buyers are. At 12:30 p.m. I walked through my own front door. The room went silent. My mother's face went white. Vanessa, what are you doing here? I live here, Mom. This is my house. The house you're fraudulently claiming to sell. Guests looked confused. Melissa Hartwell looked like she might faint. Everyone, I'm Vanessa Chin, the sole owner of this property. My mother forged documents claiming ownership so she could sell it without my permission. This open house is fraudulent. The property is not for sale. My attorney is here with documentation proving ownership, and Newport police are outside ready to make arrests for real estate fraud. Vanessa, stop this, my mother hissed. You're embarrassing yourself. I'm embarrassing myself? You forged documents, claimed ownership of my $8.7 million property, and invited 50 people to witness your fraud. I'm not the embarrassment here. David stepped forward with his folder. I'm David Ross, Ms. Chen's attorney. I have documentation proving her sole ownership of this property. Anyone who's submitted offers or negotiated based on Mrs. Patricia Chen's claims of ownership should know those negotiations are void. Mrs. Chen has no authority to sell this property. Melissa Hartwell found her voice. Mrs. Chen, you provided me with power of attorney documents. Forged documents, I interrupted. My attorney has the originals. Your documents are forgeries. You can compare them if you'd like. The real estate agent looked like she might cry. Oh my God, my broker is going to kill me. Zillow's already investigating. Because I personally contacted their CEO, I said. Turns out tech founders have good networks. Rich Barton doesn't appreciate fraud on his platform. My mother grabbed my arm. How could you do this? In front of everyone? You're destroying your family over a house you barely use. You're destroying yourself by committing crimes. I'm just documenting them. Detective Martinez entered, badge visible. Patricia Chin? My mother turned, her face crumbling as she saw the detective. I'm Detective Martinez, Newport Police. I need to speak with you about the documents you filed claiming ownership of this property. It's just a misunderstanding. Ma'am, forgery and real estate fraud aren't misunderstandings. I need you to come with me to answer some questions. The open house guests fled. My mother's country club friends, the potential buyers, the photographer from Newport Life magazine, all documenting the spectacular implosion of Patricia Chen's fraudulent open house. Olivia appeared from somewhere in the crowd. Vanessa, you're having Mom arrested? At an open house? For trying to help me have a nice wedding. She tried to steal $8.7 million from me, Olivia. The fact that she planned to spend it on your wedding doesn't make it legal. But it's just money. We're family. Family doesn't forge documents and commit fraud. And $8.7 million isn't just money to anyone except people who don't have it. My father arrived as the police were walking my mother out. He looked old, suddenly diminished. Vanessa, please. Can't we discuss this privately? As a family. You forfeited family discussions when you publicly claimed ownership of my property. You forfeited privacy when Mom posted about the open house on Facebook. This is the consequence of your choices. My mother was formally arrested that afternoon. Multiple counts of fraud, forgery, and filing false documents. The bail was set at $50,000. My father paid it, mortgaging their Connecticut home to do so. Melissa Hartwell lost her real estate license. Prestige Properties terminated her immediately and faced their own investigation for insufficient verification of ownership documents. The story went viral. Tech founder's parents arrested for trying to sell her $8.7 million mansion, appeared on CNBC, Bloomberg, and every major business publication. The Newport Life magazine photographer who'd been documenting the open house sold his photos to multiple outlets. My mother's country club membership was revoked. My father resigned from his board positions to avoid the scandal. Olivia's Tuscan wedding was cancelled. No funding and too much negative publicity. Olivia sent one text, "I hope you're happy. My entire wedding is ruined. All because you couldn't share." I replied, "You wanted me to share my $8.7 million house without asking. That's not sharing. That's theft." She blocked my number. The criminal case took 6 months. My parents pleaded guilty to reduced charges. 1 count of forgery each, probation, fines, and restitution for my legal fees. No jail time but permanent criminal records. The civil case took longer. I sued for damages. Emotional distress, security system upgrades, lost value from the public fraud scandal. The settlement was $500,000, roughly what Olivia's wedding would have cost. My parents paid in installments over 3 years. We haven't spoken since the sentencing. They sent a Christmas card to my Seattle office. "We're sorry things went this way. We only wanted to help Olivia. We hope you can forgive us someday." I never responded. Forgiveness would require them understanding that you don't steal from your children, even for other children. That property rights matter even within families. That my success wasn't their piggy bank for Olivia's dreams. I still own the Newport estate. I upgraded the security system and changed all the codes. James still manages the property, with explicit instructions that no family members are allowed on the grounds without my written authorization. Rich Barton from Zillow sent a handwritten note. "Vanessa, thank you for bringing this fraud to our attention. We've implemented new verification systems because of your case. You helped make the platform safer for millions of users. The mansion is worth $9.2 million now. Appreciation that would have been stolen if I hadn't stopped the fraud. Sometimes I walk through the rooms my mother tried to sell. The library she staged for buyer photos. The terrace where she served champagne at her fraudulent open house. The office where my Stanford diploma, proof of the work that bought this place, still hangs on the wall. She thought I wouldn't notice. Thought I was too busy with board meetings and startup acquisitions to care about one property. Thought family loyalty meant accepting theft with a smile. Zillow's CEO calling her agent proved otherwise. So did the detective walking her out in handcuffs, past 40 witnesses at the open house she'd advertised on Facebook. Some people call that harsh. I call it justice. And I call it the last time anyone in my family will assume they can take what's mine simply because we share DNA. The mansion stays mine. The criminal records stay theirs. That seems fair. 2/2.